try to figure out how to use the Hendo Academy editor. So as you can see, there is a link here, and we open it, and this is the editor that we get. Now this is from memory of a text that I had typed earlier, so we'll just delete that. Now at the top right is the first letter, which is Aleph. Okay, the second one, top right, second column from the right, because we type from right to left in Syriac, is Bez, Gamal, Dalas, He, Vav, Zain, He, the hard He. Then you have Tes, actually Hes would be the better term for it. Hes, Tes, Yod, Kap, Lamed, Mim, Nun, the KLM, Samkat, A, Pe, Sade, Ko, Pre, Shin, Ta. Now, if you notice, after the last Tau, there is a dotted circle with an Aleph on top. I'll explain what that is for in a second, but after that, we have a Ya. Now, if I, is there an enter button on this? No, there isn't, so I have to press space. So, if I press this Ya, this is Yod with a He, and there are 3 dots on top signifying the Holy Trinity, and there's a dot below, which is probably to show that it is masculine or something, but it's like there is these 3 dots, and the 1 dot creates a cross. So there is a cross on which Christ died. So this is Yah, which is God. So this is just one of those symbols that they've given us to use on this editor. Now let's go back to the Aleph. Now to type E, okay, now E is this E and EE. These are 2 sounds which are represented by the same vowel symbol known as the Huasa. Now if you want to type Ki, for example, so you write Kap, and then you put the Yod, which is on the second row, second column from the right. Okay, Kap is on the third column from the right, second row. So now you have Kap and Yod, and the Huasa is okay. Let me first explain that there are 3 sets of characters here. The first 3 rows are the Syriac characters, the next 2 rows are the Karshon characters, and the last 2 rows are the vowel symbols, the other diacritics like the Rukaka, Kusaya, and the Siame for plural, and a few other things like that. Okay, so the line on top for silent, so all those are in the last 2 lines. So now back to our topic. So to put a dot under the Yod, we have to find where the Huasa is on the keyboard, and that is in the 4th column from the left in the first row of the vowels. So you put this here. So now you have Ki. Now if you want to put a Ni or a Mi, you have to put a Mim, put another Yod, and then put another Huasa. So now you have Kimi. Okay, so this is how you can change the different characters. Now this screen that you're looking at is actually being screen recorded on an Android phone, on a Samsung Android phone. You might see a different screen on an Apple iPhone, or definitely on a laptop you will see a different screen. Now we'll go back to our Aleph that I mentioned earlier. So one way to write the letter E is to put a Yod and a Huasa under it. Now this is how it is done, or in Syriac originally, or in most East Syriac texts anyway. But a certain group of people wanted to standardize certain usages, and so what they did was they decided to put an Aleph before it. So now you have something like this. You have an Aleph, then you have a Yod, and then you have a Huasa. Okay, so now we'll type Isho. Okay, to type Isho, we first type the Aleph, then we type the Yod, then we type the Huasa, so we have E. And now, as I said earlier, there are many ways of writing E, And some people were not comfortable with putting the aleph before the yod. So what they did was they decided to continue with the old style of just the yod and the huasa. But there was a dispute. I mean, how do you distinguish if it is a yi or a e? And there were other style differences. So what people did was they came up with a compromise. You see the alpha, the character after tau, which on the left of tau, on when you look at it. Third row, second column from the right. From the left. So if you click on this, there's a certain aleph which goes on top of the yod. So this is how some people write e. For Isho, for example, I prefer to not use it, but some people want the aleph. So some people want the aleph before, and some people want the aleph on top. So after the yod, if you press the button, you can have that. So we'll just leave it here for now, and we'll continue typing Isho. Okay. Now, after we type E, we type the sheen, which is the letter just before tau. After sheen, we put a vav. Why are we putting a vav? Because we want to enter a ruvaha. Now, a ruvaha is a vav with a dot on top, which gives a O sound, and a ruvasa is a vav with a dot below it, which gives a U sound. So, the ruvasa sound is just to the left of the huasa sound, which is the third column, first row of the vowels. So now you have Isho. Now the name Isho actually also has an A at the end. Now we don't use the A when we write in English, but some of it has to come forward. Like you must have heard of people address Jesus in some languages as Yeshua or Yeshu. Okay, so sometimes the O becomes a U because the vowels U and O were distinctively separated by the dots huasa and not huasa, ruaha and ruvasa only later in the history of the alphabet. So by the time these alphabets migrated to different countries, different people have different pronunciations. So you can say Ishu or Yeshu or Isho. So which is why, like in Malayalam, you have two usages. You have Isho Mshiha and Yeshu Christu. Now, Yeshu is the Y sound and Isho is the I sound of the youth. Okay, and Mshiha is the anointed one, which is the Christ, which is Christos in Greek, which is why you have Yeshu Christu, which is the Greek. The Malayali interpretation of the Greek version, Yeshu Christu, and the Malayali version of the Syriac, or the Syriac rather, version is Isho Mshiha. So there was a aleph, there was a A, sorry, not an aleph. A is the first character from the left in the second row of the consonants, and okay, there you go. So now you have Isho. Now since this is how you have Yeshua and other things. Now after this we will enter a space button to type Mshiha. Now Mshiha, the M is like a half sound. Okay, it's not a full sound. It's not me. It's not ma. It's m. It's like halfway through. So what you can do there is you can just type a meme without typing any vowels. So what we will do is we'll get rid of the aleph on top, which was annoying me. We'll go back to putting a huasa below, Isho, and then you have a Mshiha. Now Mshiha is meme, and then you have a sheen again, the second last letter, Mshiha, and then you have to again type a yod with a, what is that sound? It's a huasa, correct. You have with a huasa. Now meme, sheen, yod with a huasa. Now you have the Mshiha. Now this is the hard H, which is not he but hes. Hes. So you can sort of represent it in English with a small k and a capital H, but anyway, it's a bit like going to school or stuhl. Those kind of odd differences are there between languages. So right now you have you will type a Mshiha, and the ha is the 8th letter, which means it is the last letter in the first row from the right, or the first letter from the left, which is ha. Now you type Mshiha, and then on top of this now you need the long a vowel. There's a a vowel which is called a ptaha, and there is a A vowel which is called a skapa. Now the skapa is in the second column from the right, first row of the vowels. That's it. Okay. And then what we do is we have to end the noun. This now Isho is a proper noun, so it's not necessary that it ends with aleph. But nouns of objects like chairs or roles like a teacher or a scholar or a soldier or a table, these usually in Syriac end with an aleph. So we'll just put an aleph here. Now you have Isho Mshiha typed in Syriac. Okay, why is it a noun? Isho is of course a proper noun, but why is this a noun? Because it is the anointed one. Now there are many ways to save this. We can save this as a PDF. It will you can download this text to your mobile phone and you can do what you want with it. Or there's another way to do these things. You can go to the select button here. Once you go to the select button, you click on WhatsApp and then you choose the group that you want to save it to. Say Syriac memes is the one I'm using, and you have it here. Now once you have saved it, as you can see, it is mentioned as shared from Syriac, East Syriac text editor. You can always go and edit this if you want. You can give credit to the maker of the software, or you can just type the text that you want, Mshiha. Notice that this Mshiha, M and Sheen, I'm not putting a me like this. Some people would prefer to put an apostrophe, which is also fine, or you can just type Mshiha. Okay, and this is the same for Pishita also. Like for Pishita, you would type Pishita like this, or you can type a Pe Shita like this if you want. So I'll just go back here and edit it to make it look nice, and voila, there you have Isho Mshiha.